Hey guys, it's Robert here. I told you I was going to go live tonight and do a quick question and answer session. I'm up close enough next to the phone where I should be able to read any questions you have. We're a few minutes early, but if you are there, feel free to say hello and ask any questions you have. We're doing our subscription service launch on Friday. We're really excited about that. And it's going to allow you ongoing access to me to be able to ask questions. If you have any questions for me about that specifically, that's totally fair game as well. Like, what does the subscription service include? What's going on? I emailed everyone on my email list to let them know about this Facebook Live because I'm just trying to reach out to more people, let them know what's going on, try to keep more regular contact with everybody. Sarah was having some problems with her low back, and at some point I'm going to work on her for just a minute so you can watch just how I do some basic mat work for somebody with low back pain. I'll talk about what she was experiencing and my guess as to why. In fact, what I'll go ahead and do is I'm going to start working on you, Sarah, and then as people come on, again, if you have questions, just ask below. I should be able to see that come up. Can you put your head down towards me or your feet towards the exit? And just lay, you can lay on your back, actually.
Thanks.
Why, does it hurt you more when you lay on your front?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But
So,
it always does.
Sarah was saying she has low back pain. And she was saying it was hurting a little bit more when she stands. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then, is it like dead center? Like on your sacrum? Or
Yeah, it's like right here.
a little bit higher? It's not like lower
Yeah.
towards your tailbone?
I mean, it like has 3 points, like here, up here, and then down here.
Okay.
It kind of aches.
So I'm just going to move her around for a second. Again, if you guys have questions, ask below. I should be able to come up and answer. Oh, but when you sit down or lay down, you like to put your knees up so it flattens your back?
Mm-hmm.
That was my first thought. Oh. Is that too much?
Mm-mm.
Does it hurt your back that way?
No.
Can you straighten your legs? There you go. Too much in the calves?
No, like right in the bend.
Backs of the knees?
Mm-hmm.
How's that? Better?
Mm-hmm.
Still back of the knees?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to work on just one leg. Let's go. Hey, there we go.
It's like I can only twist so much.
It's different when somebody moves you around as opposed to the other way. So from here, too much behind the knee again?
Yeah, that
Okay.
last bit.
I think your hamstrings have shortened.
Oh.
Pretty tight there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Too much?
Mm-mm.
Just a little?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm dying.
No,
I'm dying,
ah,
Robert.
this is good.
I think we have like a whole whopping 2 people. Of course, I'm trying to drive like 1,000 of them off of my email list by bombing them. I'm going, if you're angry that I'm giving you more free stuff, then you have to deal.
It's like, oh.
Go away. Go away. Ooh, your hips are tight. No yoga for you.
No.
No yoga for you. All you do is work. Sit in a chair.
Just sit. I'm so excited to get back to Washington. Like,
Why? Because you can move around where it's not 100 degrees? No way. No way.
and it's like the complete opposite of this job.
Yeah. After this, I'll go up and let them know if they have any questions to ask again. Yes.
Yes.
She says yes.
A+, yes, 10 out of 10. Oh.
Hoo. 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 Careful. There you go.
Ah, yes.
Big in breath. And exhale. Sarah are dead now.
Ugh.
So give me just a second to say hello and I'll do the leg.
Okay.
Oh, how you doing, Dreama? So guys, if you have questions, let me know. In just a second, I'm going to work on Sarah's other leg so she doesn't walk around in a circle after this. I just wanted to give you a chance to be able to see how I would work on low back pain. Just like a quick, make her feel better. How's that leg, Sarah?
It's a noodle.
It's a noodle. That's right. Reboot, making noodles. So I'm going to go ahead and work on the other leg. If you guys have questions, just ask below, and I'll go ahead and try to answer those as I can, okay? It's a noodle.
I tried to pick it up when you went up there, and I couldn't.
It's a noodle.
I couldn't move it.
It's a noodle.
Oh,
Behind the knee again?
that's bad.
Behind the knee?
Yeah.
Why do you laugh? Because you like your mom. I mean, it's painful. You like your laugh. It hurts.
Ooh.
Somebody asked something. I can't see from here.
You told them you could.
Well, I can't when I go up close to the phone.
Oh.
Well, I'll get a second. Right in there. And he's like, no, you're pulling my leg off.
I don't know about that.
My tension has become part of me. I hold on to it. Is it too much or is it ticklish?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know. No. Oh,
Just tight.
yeah.
Come on, you can go hiking here. There are like snakes and lizards and fire ants.
And actually, yeah, there's snakes here. There's no snakes up there at all. Did you know that? When I went up there and like 2 people told me there's no snakes here, I legit thought that they were just like lying to themselves. I was like, there's snakes here, but there's no snakes. And it's so weird. Makes no sense. That wasn't right.
Right there. Right there. Oh, I'm dead. Don't cry for me, because I'm already dead.
Oh.
So much pain. The painting.
No, not the arm thing.
Go. There you go. Big in breath for me. And exhale. And another. Big in breath. Big grip. And exhale.
Oh.
Say I'm dead now.
Oh. Ugh. Oh.
How's that feel?
That's good.
A little better?
This is good.
So let's see what we got here. Oh. Hey Michael, how you doing? And is that Nuncio? Hey Nuncio, it's good to see you. So Sarah, how's it feel on your back?
8+.
Why is it better?
Yeah.
So yeah, lay on your front in the center. I'll probably work on your gluteals a little bit in a second. So that's just like a quick demonstration. She was having problems with her back. She says like, you know, her legs kind of feel like noodles. Hey Emily. So the last thing that I did, that big twist, Emily, that's something that's in the free Thai massage workbook on my website. Hey Sherry. Hey Brooke. So essentially what happens, there's a complexity that happens with that movement, but there's a twist and a mobilization to the spine. So you're getting the rotatories along the vertebra, especially in the lumbar spine. In addition, there's a big stretch towards your lats, your QL, your hip hiker. So it's kind of a big, kind of full body motion, but a lot of people are really tight. Hey Julie, how you doing? So I think it's Maria. You were asking about what's the intro class you have to take before phase 2. Here's how it normally works, Maria. When I teach here in Austin, I had to teach an intro Thai class just to get students familiar with using their legs, working on a mat, and then I would start the phase classes. The phase classes are not prerequisites for each other, and what I wind up doing is, if you've taken Thai massage with someone else, and you have any degree of background, I will allow on some occasions, if people will talk to me about it, them to skip intro Thai. Because I just have to show them how to use their legs and feet, make sure they want to work with me before I bring them into a longer 30-hour, 5-day class. So Darlene, Sarah's worked with me a little bit before. She did another demo that's on my YouTube channel, also on my Facebook page. But she receives work, you know, sporadically here and there. She was just saying that her low back was bothering her and I needed a model for this evening. You're coming for your chair. Michael, I have to remove the cat hair.
I'm sorry.
Lucy, our outside cat, apparently found Michael's chair and said, hey, this doesn't smell like cat. Let me sleep on this. So hopefully that gives you guys a little bit of information. When you're doing that big lift and twist, it's really like a full body stretch because there's a kind of a side bending mobilization with a twisting motion. It also is giving a little bit of length to the gluteals on one side because the leg is over. So continue to ask any questions that you have. I'm going to work on Sarah for a second just in her gluteals to show you how I'm easily going to stand up and address that and save my hands. And in my case, I'm going to drink tea while I do it. There you go. Pretty good? Better? Ooh. 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 Too much? Too much? Or I'm just making you laugh. Is it too sharp?
Oh, not anymore.
Because I can dampen the pressure.
Oh, but I feel like I need this.
Oh yeah, it's just tight. So, for a lot of people, I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this or not as I'm doing this. Hopefully it's picking up enough of the sound.
Yeah.
Is it too much, Sarah?
No, I'm good.
Why are your arms all underneath you?
Oh, it makes me comfortable, okay? It makes me happy.
Is that better? Not so sharp?
Oh, yeah.
So tight. So her gluteals are essentially tight enough around her sacrum that I think what happens is the gluteal muscles, these big workhorse muscles, are pulling the sacrum to one side. When we go in and soften those, the sacrum floats in place, and then the lumbar spine tends to feel better. That's what I noticed working with people. Pretty good there? Right there. Too much? Big in breath through your nose. Out the mouth. Ah. Yeah, I'm going to go up to the camera here in a second, check on what they're saying, and then come back and work the other side, okay?
Okay.
So you could hear pretty well, Dreama, when I was saying that what's going on is the gluteals are really tight. It always feels like it's pulling on the pelvic bowl, pulling on the sacrum. But if you soften the gluteal musculature, if you lengthen and relax the muscles around the hips, it feels like the pelvis floats in place and the lumbar spine lets go. Hey, Brooke. And again, if you guys have questions for me, just go ahead and write. I'll try to answer live. If I don't catch any of them because they scroll past, I'm just going to come back on my Facebook page and answer these after the fact. And I'm going to turn around for a second here and work on the other side. I was just drinking some tea while I worked since I was hands-free. And let's see. Hey. Hey. Hey.
Oh, no.
Good Lord.
Oh, I know. Oh.
He's tight. Too sharp?
Oh, that.
Whew, man, you need to go take some yoga class.
Oh.
Too much?
Oh.
Too much?
No.
Better?
Oh. No.
You're like, no, it's all painful.
It's so. Look, you were helping my back, okay? It's just,
Does your back feel better?
this is just pain. I mean, I think so. I mean, it feels better than
You're like, I can't feel anything right now. Other than where you're mashing in my glutes. So I'm gonna give you a second to check the camera again. Oh. So Steve, all I put over her hips was a folded towel. Her glutes were tight enough you could see her kind of kicking her legs. It was sharp enough that it was too much. So instead of just using a broader tool like my foot, I went ahead and put the towel down. What it does is it dampens the pressure. So think about putting an elbow on someone, it's pointy. But if you put a towel down and then use an elbow, it dampens the pressure. It's just something I commonly do these days, kind of integrated into my work. Just a real easy way of working on something. Also, Steve, if I'm working on female clients and saying doing like pec work, very easy to work through a towel and put the towel over the pecs to be able to address stuff. Female clients in particular, they feel covered. So it kind of reduces the intimacy, but they understand that I'm working on tissue there. Yes. It's almost impossible for me to understand a time in which I didn't feel with my knees and feet the rest of my body. But yeah, it's like I'm just jostling her hands free. I'm using the ball pad of my foot just to shake out the glutes and press through. She just happens to be tight enough that it takes a little more time.
Hey. That's right, I'm still here.
You're still here. Yay.
Down here.
How's that?
Oh,
How's that?
that's amazing, thanks, yeah.
Too much?
No.
Turn your head to the side. You put your arms down by your side. Big in breath. There you go.
Oh. This is like the OG that you used to do. Oh.
That I used to do? Like I don't do this anymore?
Ah! Well, I remember over at the other house when you would do this one. Oh, oh that tickles.
Too much?
Oh. I mean, not too bad. I'm not tapping out. We're good.
Right there?
Woo.
Better?
I mean, this side's good. This side's not so. Oh.
A little bit wider. Right there. Better? There we go. So that was the same basic thing, Steve. I just kept the towel on because she's tight enough through her gluteals that it would be too much pressure. In other words, even my knees, they're bigger than my elbow. It's a big, broad structure. Even the towel's going to dampen that just a little bit. That was just to be able to give her pressure so that she doesn't tighten up and recoil. Sometimes when I'm doing a demonstration, it's like I'm not warming them up at the same like slow pace I would in session. It can be a little bit more tender. So guys, since you were on, I wanted to talk briefly about the subscription service we're launching on Friday. If you've not been on one of our webinars, I go into great lengths and detail for about an hour, hour and a half about Reboot and what it is, what we're packaging together, and you get like a real broad overview. You get a little bit of video content, you get to hear my voice, you get to interact with me just like we're doing on Facebook Live, but I get to go through a PowerPoint presentation and walk you through my logical conclusion for why I was building Reboot. The subscription service that we're launching on Friday night contains 50 hours of pre-recorded content. Nuncio, as far as like mastering it, I don't really know. I think people, how do I put this? It's something like paint. I'm not a painter. I'm not a visual artist. If you gave me a canvas and gave me some paint, and I go, I'm now a painter. But I'm 40 years old and I could spend the rest of my life and if I painted every day, you'd be able to track and chart the progress that I made. That's where bodywork as an art form, it's not just about using a specific tool, it's about mastering it over the course of a lifetime. I think for many massage therapists, if they're already working on a table, it may take them a couple of years to be able to do mat work and do it with the level of proficiency that I would prefer that they have. But it doesn't mean you can't start where you are. Yeah, Steve, the subscription service is great because, again, with that 50 hours of pre-recorded content, that's just what we're kicking off. What I'm going to constantly do is record things like this and upload it so you've got more and more content. And just like you're asking me questions live, we're going to have one live interactive webinar class a month for 2 hours for all the subscribers. So as you're going through that content, you're going to watch Table Tie and Buta. I recorded that class, I'm uploading it to the subscription service. You're going to have questions about what I covered, and it means that you can ask me, listen, Robert, on video 3 at minute 5, you did something and I couldn't quite make out what it was or what was your logic. I can go in, answer your question, and if you have more detail as far as questions, I can shoot a video to answer your question, Steve, and upload it. Cool. Maria, if you're looking for a little short class, I think there's one coming up in, I think it's October. There's a single day table-based class that is information very similar to my table tie class, which is 2 days. But the single class I'm teaching at Body Logic in October is just 1 day, it's 6 hours. Cool. Steve, are you still primarily working on a table? Yes. So, Nuncio, one of the things about the subscription service, I'm very particular about mat-based work. But one of the things I'm doing is, for instance, I'm working with Michael Arbuckle. Michael was here on the live. He was saying something earlier. Michael works at the airport at a kiosk doing chair massage. And he was asking me, listen, I need chair massage related stuff. So we took out a chair and we shot probably about 90 minutes worth of work on a chair. And we're going to supplement that. So what I'm doing, Nuncio, is I'm shooting more table content. I'm shooting more mat content. I'm shooting stuff with the suspension system. We did an abdominal session with Michael. And we're uploading all of that. Also, Nuncio, what I'm doing is when you subscribe to that, I have a vested interest in producing more material that you want and answering your questions in a way that fits your practice. If you come in and everybody asks me questions about chair massage, I'm going to set up a chair and shoot more video for chair massage and keep pushing that content onto you since you're a subscriber. Steve, did you find that doing the mat work, working with it to a degree, did it change your table work? Like, how much of it have you integrated onto the table, and how has it made you look at the table differently? Because it's been over a year at least that I worked with you, maybe 2. I'm trying to remember. I think you took class here, but it might have been like 2 years ago. So if you don't catch the webinar on Friday night, I'm going to post a link to the account where I'm hosting the information after the fact. So don't feel like you have to be on the webinar. The other thing is, if you sign up for the webinar and you can't come live, there is a replay for like 72 hours. So if you sign up, you can still probably watch it on Sunday, because for 72 hours it's still going to be there. Emily, how long have you been doing mat work? Okay. Maria, have you had any mat-based work at all? So Emily, it takes a little bit of time. It takes some practice. The body mechanics and biomechanics of mat-based work lowers your center of gravity so much. It's more like doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu than it is being a boxer. It takes time. One of the things I would recommend, Emily, if you're not already taking yoga classes, you might want to find some yoga classes that you like. You're going to learn more about strength and flexibility through your hips and your pelvis as you continue working. And also, Emily, if you have any questions about that, if anything particularly is bothering you with mat-based body mechanics, something you can't figure out, let me know. So Dreama, is it helping you work with larger clients? Is that what it's doing? Different body sizes? I wrote on my personal Facebook page last night, what I've noticed with therapists is they'll take table tie with me because that's the environment they're familiar working in. And as soon as they take my table tie class, about halfway through the first day, they start getting on the table. And the reason they're getting on the table is I'm showing them how to use their whole body, and they want more leverage and they want more body weight, so they start getting on the table. Well, good, Dreama. I'm glad it's giving you some additional options to be able to work on people. Some people, when they see my work, I've had people tell me they flat out they don't feel like it's even massage. It just doesn't look like what they're familiar with. But I have a very good track record dealing with chronic pain and helping reduce it. And Maria, you were asking about intro tie. I don't have a class currently scheduled. Where are you located, Maria? College football players. Oh, they're perfect for mat work, Steve. So Maria, what I was going to ask you, I don't know if you're going to comment, there's going to be an intro class, I hope, in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. I don't have plans for another intro tie class this year. In McAllen. Okay. So Maria, here's my guess. I'm going to have intro tie in the spring. I think that's going to be the easiest way to get started. Maria, do this for me. Can you write me a private message on my business Facebook page, since I'm assuming you've already liked it? Can you write me a message so I can go talk to you afterwards about that? Because I'd like to try to figure out if we can figure out a way to get you into that phase 2 class to go ahead and jumpstart that. You seem really interested in what we're doing, and I just want to be able to talk to you about the options. There are lots of options. When I talk about students, they start on the table, they want table work, and then they're getting on the table. Basically, when they get on the table, they're trying to recreate mat work. Because the mat is just a foreign environment. Culturally, we just don't have anything like that available in the culture. So, providing it means that for the first time, I don't understand, what is this? There's a bit of confusion. It takes some time to understand what's going on. Do you guys have any other questions for me? Anything bodywork or business related? You guys haven't asked any real business questions as of late. So I'm going to step up real quick. I'm going to work on Sarah's glutes again, just a little bit with my feet. But I'm here to answer your questions. If you go ahead and write below, I can go ahead and do that. Anything related to business or body work, I'm happy to answer on video. Oh. Bad? Just tight?
So the clients that have been seeing me for ever, do they still get this tight?
No.
That's good.
The regular clients who see me have way less tension than the bulk of people. A lot of people that I see really regularly, they'll have an issue and it's I have to dig to find it, because the superficial musculature is just loose and relaxed, and their level of pain and discomfort is if 10 is the hospital and 0 is no pain, they get to a 2. And they're I feel uncomfortable.
Wow.
It's that sort of thing. I mean, unless they've got some sort of chronic issue. And if they have a chronic issue, that takes time, to work on and get to unwind. That feels much better. That all feels much better, Sarah.
Does it?
Yeah.
That's good. You're fixing.
Again, if you guys have questions, let me know. Big in breath for me. And exhale. How's that?
Ooh.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Better there? Yeah. And again. Big in breath. Big in breath. And exhale. Hamstrings. But those aren't tight. Oh. Whew. A little better, Sarah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and conclude unless you have any specific questions. I wanted to thank you for joining tonight. Again, that webinar is on Friday night. That's when the subscription service kicks off. 50 hours of pre-recorded content. Hey Jenny, how you doing? Okay, so Sarah, where do you work? Do you work in a facility or do you work for yourself?
Facility.
So Sarah, you think I'm talking to this Sarah. I'm not.
Oh, man,
I'm talking to
come
Sarah
on.
Roan. You work in a facility. You're good. Thank you. Does you feel better?
Yeah.
How's it now? Does it feel better when
I'm
you walk?
probably going to sleep pretty well.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad it feels better.
Thank you.
Okay, Sarah, so here's what you do. Yeah, it's going to be good. It'll be really interesting to see how it goes. Jenny, I didn't go over the power of the feet, but I didn't really use my hands much in that demo at all. And Jenny, we had talked about doing like some blogging or, teaching at facilities. Just contact me about that when you have time. I've been so busy trying to get everything together with what I'm doing. I've been focused on that, and I know you've been busy as well. I've been seeing that you've been flying around. So if you're a larger therapist, you're just going to modify technique. It's the same thing with any kind of massage or body work. If we had a 300-pound guy on a table, he could probably deliver enough pressure on a table for me, right? It really just depends on who you work with. And you're going to modify body mechanics based on a lot of things. What's the physical health of the person you're working on, and what can they receive without harm? What can you do physically? And I'm not teaching just one thing. I'm teaching multiple things and just packaging it in a box that I think works a little bit better in the West. So Sarah, when you're asking about how to get people to try Thai, here's what I tell students in class, and it's what I'm going to tell you as well. From a consumer's perspective, they want value. And here's what I recommend. If you really, really want to do Thai, and you want to make it as easy as possible to transition those clients from the table to the mat, even if just to try it, do this. Take what you normally charge for an hour on the table and give the client 90 minutes on the mat. And Sarah, what's going to happen is all that client hears is, I get 30 minutes of free massage? And you go, yeah. The first session, 90 minutes on a mat for the same price as an hour on the table. You didn't say it was Thai. You didn't say anything about where it came from. You didn't say. All they heard was, I get 30 minutes of free massage. If you practice enough, what's going to happen is you're going to wind up being in a situation where those clients can be asking for mat work. So let's say you get that client that first time, 90 minutes. You tell them, listen, as a special for you, I can tell that you really enjoyed that session. I'm going to extend this offer to you right now if you buy another package of 3. If you buy a package of 3 sessions, I'll give you each session for the hour price on a table. All you're doing is speaking consumer language. They hear, I get a free 30 minutes of massage. And here's what happens after the fact. If they've gotten 4 sessions with you on a mat and you have a reasonable level of skill, I don't think they're going to want to go back to the table necessarily. Now, if you're just doing relaxation work, there are some clients who are kind of, particular about that. Thai massage and mat-based work, I think, can be equally as relaxing, but you're moving the person around more. It has kind of a different aesthetic, which is why I also focus on chronic pain clients, because I find it better for that specifically. Yeah, it always chickens out, right on the edge, right? All you're doing is speaking their language. Some of the therapists I work with when I'm training them, they want to focus on the fact that it's Thai and focus on the fact that it's Asian. And the consumer just doesn't care about that, not in the West, not specifically. What they want is really effective body work. Sarah, when you get good at it and you've worked at it a while, what I started to do at a chiropractor's office I worked for, they billed insurance, was the client would come in, it would be a guy. He was 350 pounds, huge, looks like a linebacker. And he's like, man, my neck is bothering him. I would tell him, listen, I can work with you on this table, and we're going to get very little done, in my professional opinion. Or I can go to this other room and work with you on a mat, and I'm going to fix you up. We have 30 minutes. And he'd go, oh, well, okay, let's go over there. And once I worked on him in that environment, he was sold. But I had to have the confidence to be able to do that. And it took a little bit of time to develop enough physical sensitivity and enough skill set to be able to do that consistently with clients and speak to them that way. But I really think, Sarah, if you're trying to transition clients towards the mat, that's the way to go. Give them 90 minutes for the price of an hour. Something like that as a kickoff, like kind of program. So, any other questions for me? Feel free to let me know. I like all the hearts and the likes. It's good to talk with you guys. Again, that subscription service is going to kick off Friday. The full retail packages we have on my workbooks and DVDs are still available. I can provide a link down below if you want to go check those out. Just right below and let me know if you're looking for those. That retail is still available. We're just adding another layer with the subscription service. Yeah, it takes time, Nancy. I wasn't very confident. It took years for me, really. I think to build to the point where I could do that with clients. But I finally just got to a point where I knew my skill set well enough. It was like being an auto mechanic. I wasn't questioning what was wrong with the car. I had a better idea of what was going on. So, Jennifer, the next class I have outside... Do you see my hipster man bun? So the next class I'm having outside of Texas, Jennifer, is in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. In, I think, November, we have intro and table tie scheduled. Top knot, a pie. We have Eureka Springs, Arkansas scheduled. One of the things I did was I've stepped back a little bit from in-person classes to try to put energy into kicking off the subscription service. I'm completely open to traveling somewhere and teaching. What is one of the things I was talking to Jenny about? Jenny's in Cincinnati right now, so the thing is, like, she has to fly. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of time. She's probably eating really wonderful, hotel food, road food. So the whole thing is, we continue working on what we're doing. And Jenny is, of course, traveling out of the country. And then what is this? Michael just randomly shows up in my Facebook Live. Nice.
I do.
So, Jennifer, where do you live? I didn't have a chance to clean that off at all, by the way. You sure?
Yeah.
Did you need it?
I have to work tomorrow.
Oh, you have to use it? Okay, cool. I didn't know if you were hanging out for a bit.
I didn't know if you were doing anything.
Oh, just this.
That's okay.
So, any other questions for me? Because I'm going to hang out here and talk with Michael for just a bit. Okay, you are in Kentucky, Jennifer. I don't have anything near there as of yet. The best resource for you, Jennifer, if you haven't gotten any of my materials, you download the free workbook, one. You buy the big retail package. That's the workbooks and DVDs I produced. And then you get on the subscription service where there's another 50 hours of content right now. Michael, who just came in, we did a whole series of private classes that we recorded. Yeah, Jamie, I don't have anything out of the state other than Arkansas. And that's the challenge. People are contacting me from other states wanting me to come teach. I have to have enough students in one space. That was why the subscription service made a lot of sense. Yeah. Jenny has more like physical contacts in other places, which is why we were talking to each other. The brotherhood of the feet. All right, guys, listen, you have a good night. I'm going to go ahead and post down below. I'll post that link to Teachable that I was talking about. You can go ahead and grab that retail package if you're interested in that. Otherwise, you have questions for me. If you catch this after the fact, just go ahead and write, and I'll go ahead and talk with you. If you have any questions you want to ask me privately, you can also just send me a message. You guys have a good night, and I'll talk to you soon. I'll see you Friday.